Can you remember a time when you didn't rely on instant access to data on your smart devices for instant answers to personal needs or to drive your business? With artificial intelligence, the cloud, and the Internet of Things continuing to revolutionize the way we complete our daily tasks, the staggering amount of data generated and the processing power required to process it is starting to take a toll on our infrastructure. Instant connectivity is taken for granted in today's fast-paced world, and the expectations are only getting higher.
Sometimes I leave my home without my phone and I panic because I'm not connected anymore. Expectation of being connected instantaneously is real today. You send an email, you've only waited less than 30 seconds. I didn't get it yet. Where is it? The number of users are increasing. The amount of data that's being processed is increasing, and it's happening exponentially. And you have to analyze every piece of data to determine what do you do with it.
We can use general purpose computing architectures to handle a general sort of network. But as you start to load more things into your infrastructure, now efficiency is really going to be much more critical. And some things that may be fine to just use the generalized sort of computer network. But if we go back to the autonomous vehicle now, where it's going to want to track what are the objects around it, it's going to want to look at the road conditions, what's up ahead in terms of vehicles. It wants to know something geographically about where on-ramps and off-ramps are, knowing what time of day it is and how the traffic patterns vary. Now we want compute that's much more flexible and can really handle all of these unstructured and more random type data.
When I think about autonomous vehicles or I think about AI and smart cities, computing architectures that can handle unstructured data are an advantage in such an environment. The algorithms and the training have to be based upon the data, and you have to understand what the data is really telling you in order to properly harness that data and apply it to the application space.
Today, MoSys is accelerating data analysis and classification by reducing access time and increasing the efficiency of data evaluation. Pioneering state-of-the-art technology, high-speed memory chips, accelerator engines, and customized algorithms, MoSys is laying the groundwork for a faster, more efficient architecture for providers of next-generation platforms in cloud networking, security, data analytics, and video systems.
We're always trying to empower the user. And the key is that what tools do we have today to empower the user? So when it comes to the network and the cloud infrastructure, it has to increase its speed, it has to improve its efficiency, it has to improve its reliability, its robustness, it has to improve at every level because the infrastructure is critical to advancing these next technologies.
People like to use terms like speed. I really think more of it in terms of how fast does it take to get to the answer. Fetch some data, do some processing, fetch some data, do some processing. The longer it takes to fetch that data, then it just starts adding up and multiplying. And so if we can move some of that compute out closer to the edges, what will happen is that we can start to make those decisions about, what's important, what's necessary, and what's critical. I like to use an analogy of cooking. I mean, you've got a chef and he's got a recipe, and so that's really your processing, your ingredients, which is typically, data that's stored somewhere. And so when we think about the cooking process and we're reading the recipe, now we have a grocery list, we need to go off to the store to go get that. And if it's just right there handy, then the latency is low. But imagine that you're missing some of the ingredients, and now you've got to go out to the corner store, you got to go out to the warehouse, or worse, you got to go to the farm to go get it. Now the latency is really increased. And what if by the time you get out there, they don't have it? Now you have to come up with some sort of substitute. So what you'd like to have then is some intelligence that's at that location that can help, then make that substitution for you. So now you've saved a bunch of trips.
We've been known as a technology leader in the memory space. The company invented the 1T, 1 transistor SRAM, which is 4 times the size of the current high-speed SRAM, but yet same speed and half the power. That revolutionized the memory industry. Based on our application experience, we created a new class of memory called accelerator engines, where we've built on our serial memory high-speed technology, and we've included on the device in-memory computing capabilities. So we've been able to include not only the memory capability, but also decision-making on a single chip.
So I think the thing that really excites me about working in this particular area is always, where software and hardware meet each other and how the memory and the compute interplay. When I, meet a new challenge and then all of a sudden have that flash of insight about, how that hardware could be better utilized, that's the thing that I think really excites me. And the fact that people are more concerned with the higher level functionalities that we can provide that infrastructure that will speed up their bigger vision.
Considering industry players, MoSys is one of the active players in the industry because, well, it's a very dynamic industry and there's a lot of opportunity out there. This whole aspect of acceleration and offload of data analysis and classification tasks is going to become more and more important and is going to become literally a critical industry enabler. Solutions like the ones coming out of MoSys, I think they're on top of it.
We're always going to be relevant to the needs that are out there. We can adapt and adjust our products and our acceleration capabilities to these new needs. We don't know what they are. I've been an engineer by heart since I was a child, and going to the University of Michigan solidified the fact that you can see what computers can do to change the world. What MoSys has the ability to do with this acceleration capability is play a small part in accelerating all those applications. And the fact that we don't know what's next, but we're positioned with capability to saying we can do that, that's exciting.
MoSys, accelerating data intelligence. For more, visit MoSys.com.